Okay, picture this for just a moment. We have Batman Bruce Wayne in his Batcave making a device for interdimensional travel, when suddenly his test run goes terribly wrong, and instead of opening a portal to an alternate dimension, he transports not just himself, but the Batcave also to an alternate dimension. Immediately, he knows that he's not in his own universe, so he heads out to see what this new world is like. And he notices that it's very similar to his Earth's version of New York, so he kind of just goes around. It's nighttime. He's able to sneak around, and he sees it. A quote-unquote lower-ranked hero extorting people for money. And immediately, this just rubs Bruce the wrong way. And he's not gonna let this go. So he gets down there and notices that this guy is actually pretty strong, stronger than just the normal criminals of Gotham, but nothing he can't handle. As Batman is one of the most skilled combatants, he would immediately take this guy down and interrogate him, asking what he's doing and who he is. Now, who this individual is really isn't important, but what is important is that he just tells Batman that this is how things are done. And judging by this, he must be a new quote-unquote soup, and he's just trying to get noticed by Vought to be picked up and become part of the Seven. Because going around doing heroics isn't how you climb the corporate ladder, and it's definitely not what pays the bills. So all he's doing is trying to make a living. Batman would then narrow his eyes and beat the living hell out of this guy. After that, Bruce then knows that he needs to get more information rather quickly, especially on whatever this Vought is. So he would go to break into the nearest government facility building and download all of their data on all superheroes and this company called Vought, which is quite surprising a lot. Now, he returns back to the Batcave to kind of put together what's going on. And from there, he decides that he needs to stick to the shadows and not be found out by anybody. But there is someone he will be looking for. An individual known as Frenchie, as he sees him as a high priority target, someone who has a lot of criminal offenses on his record, and who might have a bunch of information on the underground group known as the Boys. So from there, Batman just kind of sticks to the night, going around, and the public itself says that there is some bat type of monster that's taking out heroes and criminals alike. Now, this is immediately going to draw the attention of Vought, but at the same time, there's no sightings. There's nothing. Just criminals getting taken out. And so they kind of play into this, as they kind of use it to promote getting soups into the military and into the police force, so that this way they can actually put a stop to monsters like these, who is clearly the work of a super terrorist, or as Homelander would coin it, a super villain. But Bruce does not show himself, even with all this, because he's used to people being scared of him, and he's used to people vilifying him. But eventually one night he does find Frenchie, and when he does, he takes him out and starts to interrogate him. And it's from this interrogation that he would learn the location of the Boys, who are down on their luck rather hard at this point, and Batman just easily takes them out, dismantles them completely, as none of the Boys, except for like maybe Kimiko or Starlight if she's there, which I don't feel like she's there at this point in time. So basically it's just Kimiko there, and Batman is not going to have any issues. Like, yes, Kimiko's strong and she has that, but you know, knockout gas is still going to take her out just the same. But not only that, Kimiko is not nearly as fast, well trained, nor as strong as Batman. And I know people look at Batman like, oh no, he's just a normal dude. Well, tell me, what type of normal human can survive falling from space, cratering into the earth, and just walk it off like it's nothing? Yeah, I didn't think so. So yeah, Kimiko's not putting anywhere near that type of output against Batman, so yeah, she's not taking this guy down. And so from there, after he takes them down, this is kind of where they convince him to let them make a call to their government contact, which would be Grace. And this sets up a meeting between Grace and Batman, where she puts it all out on the table, explaining everything about this world to Bruce. So where he finds out that the boys are actually like an underground unit that she's helping out to take out Vought and these superheroes that they're trying to push on everybody. Now, Batman kind of finds this interesting, and it would actually match what he has from when he went and procured their data. And so this would kind of set up a situation to where Batman agrees to help the boys out on the condition that they follow his lead and that they abide by his code, especially the no-kill rule. And that's where Butcher has an issue with, because he's not into just taking out these supes and keeping them alive and letting them go to trial where they'll potentially get off due to Vought's, strings and the government. So Butcher's not for that whatsoever. It's not going to work for him, as he calls Batman an idealist living in some kind of fantasy world. And this is where Batman kind of gets up in Butcher's face, saying either you abide by my rules or I'll take you down when I take the rest of them down. And Butcher from there, kind of just fed up, leaves. He's not going to follow Bruce's no-kill rule. And even though I can see Huey trying to reason with him, saying, hey man, this guy just whooped all of our asses like it was nothing. Even Kimiko, our suit, didn't stand a chance. Like, come on man, this guy, he's the real deal. If anybody can take these guys out, it's gonna be him. And Butcher's just like, kid, no, I'm gonna do it my own way. I don't want these supes in jail. I want them in the ground, especially Homelander, for what he did to my Becca. And after that, I can just see Butcher walking off, and we probably don't see him again until he goes to get Soldier Boy. And so after that, Batman breaks into Vought, and there's not any shot that he is even detected remotely, even by Homelander, because Bruce is skilled enough in stealth to where he can outsneak Superman's super hearing. He cannot be detected unless he wants to be detected. And so when he breaks into Vought, the first thing is he disables all of their security cameras. He goes to the server room and downloads all of the data they have on every superhero that they have on their payroll, or every supe out there, and including Compound V and Temp V, which was currently being developed. And after he has all of that, of course, he goes back and studies it to create contingency plans for every single person on that list, including Homelander, Soldier Boy, Stormfront, and even Starlight. He creates contingency plans for his allies as well, seeing them as a volatile, dysfunctional group that is just waiting to blow up in his face. So of course Bruce is going to create a contingency plan, because these aren't his most trusted allies. It's not Dick Grayson, it's not Tim Drake, it's not Damian, not Jason, not Clark, not Diana, not Oliver, not any of those. So he cannot trust these people. He doesn't trust them as far as he can throw them, which ironically is pretty far. After that, Batman also discovers data on Victoria Newman and about her powers being able to make people's heads explode. So the first thing he does is create a meta dampening collar, and he would test it out on Kimiko, seeing if it did work, which of course it would. Now after this, Batman goes into Victoria Newman's place and puts knockout gas there to knock her and her daughter and anybody else in that place out completely, and places meta-human dampeners on everybody in there just to be on the safe side. And this way he could take her back to a secure place and begin interrogating her. Now as soon as Vought finds out that Victoria Newman is gone missing and that they've had a security breach, immediately they're sending out Black Noir. They're going to send him after Victoria and who they think is just the boys. So Black Noir is going after them, and this is where he would come face to face with Batman. And when Black Noir arrives, he would definitely be caught off guard by Batman. And the fight between them, while it would be amazing to watch for the first 30 seconds, it's going to become very clear on who the more skilled combatant is, as Black Noir is nowhere near as skilled as Batman, as Batman has survived falling from space. But not only that, Batman has gone up against parademons, Darkseid, and all types of people. He is able to take hits from Wonder Woman. So yeah, there is not a snowball's chance in hell that Black Noir is coming out on top, as he's not strong enough, fast enough, or skilled enough to go up and win against Batman. And this is where Batman places a meta dampener on Black Noir and puts him in a cell, until he finds out that Black Noir has a lot of mental stuff going on, and then he puts him in a padded cell. Now, when Batman leaks all the information that he got from Vought, which he definitely would do, Homelander's popularity would tank as the public turns against him, especially after it becomes public knowledge that Vought covered up Homelander forcing himself onto Becca, and that Ryan was not conceived consensually, to say the least, and that he had a knowing relationship with Stormfront, who was a Nazi, and that instead of him saying, "I didn't know and I feel just as betrayed as all of you do," that Homelander did know and still had a very intimate relationship with her, and actually kind of agreed with her on some things. And so public reception of Homelander is going down into the negatives. It was going to crash and burn. And this causes Homelander to become very unstable as Vought attempts to do damage control. However, this new information that leaked has allowed Grace to bring forth several indictments against Vought as well, freezing all of their assets. This is going to destroy Vought. But meanwhile, Butcher would find and free Soldier Boy to help him kill Homelander. Butcher would obviously have to help Soldier Boy get his revenge, so that Soldier Boy would help Butcher take down Homelander. And as soon as, Soldier Boy blows up that area, Batman's on their trail. And it would not be very hard for him to track down Soldier Boy, as the two would fight. Soldier Boy's not really standing much of a chance, especially after Batman studied his file and found a way to restrain him. As yes, Soldier Boy is skilled, but he's not Batman levels of skilled, meaning that Batman could not only knock him out, but during the fight, he'd be able to place a meta dampener on him, making it just that much easier. Now, after Soldier Boy's down, Butcher would have taken the time to take some Temp V, and this would have Batman consider Butcher way too dangerous to be left alone, especially since Butcher has been out helping Soldier Boy commit murder. Batman's moral code will not allow for him to let Butcher get away, and so a fight would ensue, and Butcher doesn't really have much of a chance. I mean, he has a better chance than Homelander just because Butcher is a more skilled combatant. But with his mental state and Batman having read Butcher's file by now, of course he'd be able to just do exactly what he needs to throw Butcher off his game. But even with that, I mean, this is a universe where Batman has his Batcave on standby. And in his Batcave, for all of my The Dark Knight Returns animated movie people and Batman v Superman fans, the power armor is in the Batcave. Batman can have it delivered to him if Butcher's given him that much of trouble. And let's just say that he does, right? Let's say he plans on cleaning up Butcher and then going to face Homelander and bringing him down, along with all the others too. So he just has the power armor delivered. At that point, this is game, set, match for Butcher, because he can't do anything. And even in Batman's base Batsuit, Butcher's not going to have too much of an easy time against Batman. Batman is going to dog whop him. He's faster, more skilled, more durable, and Butcher just cannot. Every time Butcher's gotten powers, he overly relies on them way too much. He does not plan his attacks. He doesn't do anything that he should do, because Butcher just lets it go to his head. And so once the power armor is there and Batman suits up, he's one-shotting Butcher at best. And after that fight, Soldier Boy and Butcher would be given over to Grace with meta-dampening collars, and they would both be put into a jail cell and probably Soldier Boy put back on ice. And this would cause Batman to go out and call out Homelander in a place where he has everything set up. Surprises after surprises. And so as soon as Homelander gets in close, the missile launchers that Batman would have set up all over the area immediately fire, locking onto him, and would knock Homelander to the ground. And once Batman has Homelander on the ground, the fight begins, and this is brutal. Homelander does not stand a chance against Batman because, for one, Homelander's not a skilled fighter whatsoever. He is not a combatant of Batman's caliber. And so this is going to be Batman systematically breaking Homelander's body, breaking an arm here, shattering his collarbone, breaking a few ribs, and then following it up with breaking a leg there, you know, and ultimately just choking him out, ending the fight. And after that, Homelander has a meta-dampening collar placed around him and is given over to Grace to be put on trial. Batman has systematically cleaned house, taking down Vought, taking down all of the supes who are put away in a specialized high security prison that Batman probably, no doubt, designed, before he then goes to his Batcave and finds his way home. Because even if Batman could have gotten home, he wouldn't have. It's not in his nature to leave someplace that desperately needs help. And so, in conclusion, Batman would absolutely clean up the boys' universe very easily. His time on the Justice League, along with all of his skills and abilities, and having the Batcave at his disposal whenever he needs it, really does help him out here. But then again, Batman in the comics is just absolutely cracked. You cannot tell me that is a normal man. There is no way he's a normal man. Automatically surviving, falling from orbit, yeah, no, you're a metahuman. In some way, shape, or form, everyone on the Bat family has to be a metahuman at this point. But let me know down in the comments below, what do you guys think would happen? Does Batman pretty easily clean house here? Or does he struggle with some aspect? Because honestly, I don't think he does. He was able to uproot and root out a lot of the corrupted individuals in Gotham. Sure, he hasn't really cleaned up the streets, but if the legal system did its job in Gotham, there would not be any crime or supervillains left in Gotham. Right? It's just the legal system determining that these guys are insane, when in reality, most likely, the insanity plea would be thrown out of court with a lot of Batman's rogues gallery, and they would be either put on death row or life in prison without the possibility of parole. So, yeah, that's another video for another time. But anyways, I hope you guys have a blessed rest of your day, and remember, God is awesome, you guys are too, and peace.